This is my Bandai 1/72 scale X-Wing fighter from Star Wars. And I'm right in the middle of many trips to the spray booth to paint in all these different panels and shades and variations that are found on this model. I'm trying to replicate the best I can, the studio scale X-Wing. I feel like for the past several weeks at least, I have just been airbrushing and airbrushing and airbrushing. So I wanted to take a little break from this and do something that doesn't require any airbrushing at all. So I was watching one of SteveTheFish.net's videos, and he was at one of the Japanese hobby shows, and he went over to the GSI Creos booth and experimented a bit with the Acrysion paint system. And that sort of interested me a bit because we all know how difficult it can be to brush paint acrylics, and how difficult it can be to even airbrush acrylics because they tend to dry out so fast. So that got me thinking of maybe I kind of want to try this stuff. And it's also very difficult to find here in the United States. So I did find it at Hobby Wave. So I ordered a set of paint that they make, of the Acrysion paint. And here it is. So it's the Imperial Japanese Navy aircraft color set. And I also got some thinner. And I was going to give it a shot and brush paint a Mitsubishi Zero. And I thought this would be perfect. I thought this would be a perfect break from this airbrushing extravaganza that I've been doing on the X-Wing. Just sit down with a paintbrush and a model and just paint it. So this is sort of a test to see how well this acrylic goes on with a paintbrush. So I want to give it a shot. So I was going to paint this, but I figured as a test, I don't know if I want to mess around with this kit yet. So I figured the best way to test this out is with this guy. So I'm going to go ahead and build this little kit, and it has every color it needs is pretty much in the set here, with a few exceptions of black and maybe some aluminum. So I'm going to go ahead and put this little guy together, and we'll see how it works. And I'm going to do I'm going to brush paint the whole thing, and I think I'm going to try to do it without any primer. I'm going to go directly onto the plastic. So I think this is a good test. We'll see how it goes, and I'll be right back once I put this little guy together. Okay, so let's give this a shot and we'll see how it goes. I would think it's probably going to take at least 4 coats of this stuff, I think, to get a good solid finish. So I'll just condense that down and we'll do coat by coat. Okay. Doesn't take a lot of mixing. It's pretty smooth right out of the gate. It's pretty nice. Okay. I guess we'll try to do just a kind of a 50-50. brush full here. Okay. I'm not going to worry about masking it until we do the upper color. Just going to go real light for this first coat. I'm not going to worry too much about the brush strokes. It does take a while to dry, like a long time to dry, a couple of hours. So we'll go ahead and we'll do this, and then I'll come back and just do each coat. All right, so let's give this one a second coat. It's interesting, but the the brush strokes seem to really just kind of disappear after a few minutes. Okay. Let's see how that does. So here we are after 5 coats. Pretty impressed. The only drawback is that it takes a long time to cure, to dry. Sometimes at minimum 4 or 5 hours. Best overnight. After 5 coats, it just goes down really nice. It's very creamy paint, if that makes any sense, and it stays that way for a long time. So brush painting is really not an issue. It's pretty nice. So so I'm going to do the same thing for the top half, and you can see it's all ready to go. So all done painting. Probably about 4 coats per color. Pretty nice. I would definitely use this as a, if I had to brush paint. I don't think I'd ever brush paint something this, like a whole model, but if you want to, it's totally acceptable. I think the results, if you kind of look at the reflections of everything, is pretty. I think what I'm going to do next is just put it all together. I'm going to put the decals on, and I'm not going to put any sort of clear coat on it. Just going to leave it as is. I think it's pretty cool. So the next time you'll see it is fully assembled. I mean, these paints are really, really nice. They don't have any kind of any odor at all. They're super pleasant to brush paint with. Take a long time to dry though when you're using the solvent here, their proprietary thinner. But if you're building a plane or a model and you just want some basic paints, and you don't feel like using an airbrush or dealing with an airbrush or dealing with any sort of smells and toxic paints and stuff like that, then they're a total pleasure to use. Recommended. Try to find them. Alright, so that's it for this one, and thanks for watching.